Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Shannon and rock tumbling is my favorite hobby. I love rocks and gemstones, and rock tumbling gives me the opportunity to really get to know a wide variety of gemstones and how they react to the tumbling process. And today I'm going to show you my journey of tumbling lapis lazuli from start to finish. So I'll show you the rough, and then I'll show you video of every stage along the way to get to this finished, polished end product. And then at the end of the video, I'll show you the timeline and the recipe that I used to get these results. Now, lapis is a stone that I've been looking forward to polishing and tumbling for a long time, but it is a more advanced tumble because lapis is made up of several different minerals. You've got the blue part, the white, which is a little bit of calcite, which is softer than the blue element, and then there's pyrite mixed in here as well, which will kind of give a chemical reaction and makes your slurry a little bit stinky. Also, a lapis is a slightly softer stone. It doesn't take that bright shine that jaspers might, but you can get really close and you can get it a nice shine. So for this process, I used 3 methods and 2 pieces of equipment. So I used a rotary rock tumbler and I used a vibratory rock tumbler. And for those who do not have a vibratory tumbler, a small and inexpensive option is the Raytech Tumble Vibe 5, and I'll link to where you can get that for under $100 below. I'm not sponsored, but if you do not want to spend hundreds of dollars on a large vibratory tumbler, the Raytech is a good hobby option. So then I use dry polishing as the final polishing method, and you can get you can see my video, my tutorial for dry polishing, and I'll link to that in the description below and in the eye above. So you'll start with the rotary tumbling, then you'll move on to the vibratory tumbling, then you'll move to the dry polishing process. So let's get into the nitty-gritty details and let me show you the rough. Right, today I'm breaking out some of the good stuff, and it's more unusual for tumbling, and this is a lapis. I got some really good tumbling lapis recently, and I've been waiting until it just felt right to try it, and I think I'm gonna do it. It's not very common tumbling material, but you know, I'm just really curious and I am ready to give it a try. So I have about 4 pounds here, and I'm going to start it in the rotary barrel. You know, lapis is anywhere from those 5 to 6, depending on the distribution of minerals in the rough. And so I'm going to start it in coarse, and I'm going to check it around 5 days. Ooh, I see a piece with that pyrite in it. And see how it's going, and then I'll just play the rest of the stages by ear, depending on how this starts to look. So let me get this in the barrel in coarse, and we'll check on it in a couple of days. Here is the lapis after 1 week in coarse, and let me tell you, this slurry was thick like sludge, but the pieces came out really nice. I did remove the ceramic media that I had in there so I could take some pictures, but I did have this initially cushioned in its first week. Oh, there's some great pyrite pieces in there. Now this rough came from roughstone.rocks, and it's just a really fine example of some tumbling quality lapis. I'm so pleased with this. That's looking so nice. So I would like these to be smoothed out a little bit more, like, see that, before moving on to the finer stages. But I have to balance that with the fact that there is some sign of weakness in these, like this one kind of crumbled apart. And this one, you can see there was a white vein through it that eroded and the rock split apart. So I am going to get this into a rotary barrel in medium to run some more with a lot of cushioning. Because one, it will help work down some of the imperfections that I still want to be a little smoother on these. And it will probably cause some more of the weak ones to break apart, so I can pick those out for the finer stages. But it's looking good so far. I'm so happy with this. All right, let's get this cleaned up really good, because not only might there be coarse grit still left in this, but also bits of pyrite and stuff from the parts that have eroded. Here's the lapis after 1 week in medium, and it's looking fantastic. This is exactly what I wanted it to look like right after this stage, and it's looking beautiful. You can really see a lot more of the pyrite in this batch. Now that medium has done some more work on it, it's looking really, really nice. Just a couple interesting things to notice. The slurry didn't smell all that great. I'm glad I washed it and rinsed it outside. And there seemed to be some chemical reaction going on in that slurry too. So, but I'm not going to keep it in rotary barrels any longer. This is going to move on to the Tumble Vibe. So I will put this in the Tumble Vibe for about 12 hours in fine. And then we will check on it then. Gorgeous. Okay, here's the Tumble Vibe setup for the lapis. I have all the lapis and the ceramic media here in the Tumble Vibe barrel. And I have 2 teaspoons of fine grit, 5 tablespoons of sugar, and then probably not much water because the ceramic media and the stones are still wet. So probably like 2 tablespoons. But the sugar mixture helps to slow down the speed of the tumbling in the Tumble Vibe, so that the lapis stones aren't crashing into each other, but they still get the benefit of the vibration and the grit grinding against the surface in there to smooth them out. So I'm going to put this in for 12 hours and we'll see them after that. The lapis has just spent 12 hours in the Tumble Vibe with fine grit, and the surface is feeling really smooth. I think 12 hours was just a really good time frame for the lapis, because it's not a super soft stone, but it is prone to undercutting. So to minimize that, I just keep the time period in the Tumble Vibe down. But it's looking really gorgeous. Again, I warn that the slurry is a little stinky. Gets really dark. So just be warned when you open your barrels or your Tumble Vibe that it can be a little smelly. So now I'm going to run this for 12 hours in extra fine, and then it should be ready for polish. So let's get this back on the Vibe. The lapis has just finished 12 hours in extra fine grit in the Tumble Vibe, and the surface is looking super, super smooth. This is a really fine quality batch of lapis rough, and it just looks really gorgeous. There's lots of that lovely pyrite and such a nice mix of like the blue and the pyrite and the white, and just really lovely specimens. So now that it's finished with the grit cycles, it's time for polish, and I'm going to get this really super washed off, do a couple of wash cycles, and get this in the tumble vibe with 2 teaspoons of cerium oxide. That's what I'm choosing to use on this batch. So let me get these washed up and get these into polish. Now I've had the lapis in dry polish with cerium oxide polish for 2 weeks. And so let's check out the shine on this. If you're interested in learning about the dry polish method and exactly how to do that, then please check out the link in the description below or in the eye above. So I'll just take out a piece right from the barrel and stick it in some, just give it a rinse with some clean water, and then dry it off with a paper towel. Get that polish residue off of it, and then, yeah, look at that shine. Yeah, that is super nice. So then let me try another. Got here. Give it a rinse. Give it a dry. And then, yeah. That's a really nice shine. Let's see if I can grab one more, dig around in here. I'm getting all this this corn cob in the water. So that's what dry polish is. It is dried up corn cob and your polish. That's it. It's a dry polish. And then the corn cob and the polish work against the surface of the stone and give it this really nice shine. It's a really excellent method for softer or more porous stones like rhodonite, angelite, fluorite, and lapis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a burnish cycle with soap, water, and a little bit of borax to just get all of the polish residue off of these stones, and then I'll show you pictures of the finished product. Thank you so much for joining me today to watch my entire process of tumbling and polishing lapis lazuli. It was really exciting, and this is rough that if you buy good quality, it costs a little bit, so you really want to be careful with it. And I wanted to be able to provide you with a method that you could trust when tumbling this gemstone, so that you could take, your rough, fairly expensive lapis lazuli and get it to an end polish process without waste or having to repeat steps. And I hope this piqued your curiosity. I hope you're ready to go out and invest in some lapis rough and see how that turns out for you. So if you're a brand new rock tumbler, or if you're curious and you haven't started, make sure to check out my Rock Tumbling 101 online course. The link to that is in the description below, and it's a whole video series in which I talk about the supplies, where to get your stones, what types of tumblers there are, and you get to see me perform every step of the process so that you can successfully tumble and polish your first batch of gemstones. And then if you're an experienced tumbler and you'd like to see how I tumble a wide variety of gemstones, even the more kind of hard to tumble and expensive stones, then make sure that you all subscribe to the channel so you won't miss a single gemstone video. Thank you, and I'll see you again soon.